I am going to create a tactic that uses 11 playmakers. Every single position is going to be a playmaker. And then I'm going to simulate one season to see how good this tactic can be. And the genesis for this video comes from Stinger's video where they played with 6 trequartistas, what I thought was really funny. So we're going to try to do something similar by having 11 playmakers. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's a really good video. And this is what a tactic with only playmakers looks like. I didn't even realize that I could put 10 playmakers in the outfield. Obviously, sweeper, keeper on support. We're going to call that the closest thing to an actual playmaker for the keeper. But otherwise, we have 3 deep lying playmakers here. We have an advanced playmaker and 2 roaming playmakers, and then you can only have advanced playmakers in this position. Again, I actually didn't realize you can just have so many center mids, so we have made it work. We have put 10 playmakers in the outfield positions. This is absolutely crazy. There is absolutely no way this is going to work. We are going to do this a little bit more sensibly after this, but I actually want to see what this looks like just because I think it'll be funny. But we will do this a little bit more sensibly after. We'll have a more regular formation. We're going to break down what it means to really be a playmaker. And then we'll institute this and see if we can actually make 11 playmakers on the pitch work. But in the meantime, this is going to be hilarious. Let's simulate one season. Let's see what this looks like. Well, this ended up being absolutely insane. I don't know if you can see us at the bottom there. Barcelona, 20th place relegated. I think my face is covering it, but there were 0 wins, 2 draws, 36 losses, 39 goals for, a whopping 215 goals allowed, a negative 176 goal differential, and 2 points. This is legitimately the craziest schedule I've ever seen. It's just loss after loss. 2-2-2 draws, to be fair. A 1-0 win in the Spanish Cup third round, but otherwise, it is L's across the board. Yeah, this tactic didn't work. Let's do this a little bit more sensibly. Let's find a way to make this work. Let's go back to the beginning and try this again. So the big question is, in FM24, what really makes a playmaker? And I'm going to argue that there are 3 player instructions that make a playmaker in Football Manager. I'm kind of basing this around the advanced playmaker role, but as we'll see, especially with the deep lying playmaker role, these things seem to still hold. So the first thing is they tend to have shorter passing directness. So rather than being more direct passing or really direct passing, we tend to see that there is shorter passing for playmakers. Second, it's that the passing risk is higher. This makes sense. Playmakers are going to take more passing risks. They should have higher vision and better passing attributes, so they can take more risks when passing the ball. And finally, it seems that the playmaker roles tend to shoot less often. So I would argue that these are the 3 player instructions that really make a playmaker in FM24. So based on those player instructions, this is what I'm going to be instituting into this 4-2-3-1 formation here, which is pretty much just a basic control possession tactical style. Where I can put in a playmaker, I'm going to do that. So in the center midfield roles and the attacking midfielder roles, we have 3 advanced playmakers here. We have Ilkay Gundogan as a roaming playmaker, who I've also told to shoot less often. And we have Frankie de Jong, who is a deep-lying playmaker on defense. But in the roles where we don't have the ability to input a playmaker, I've taken what I think is the closest to what a playmaker would be in that position, and then I've modified the player instructions to be more like an advanced playmaker. So here in the up top position, we have a trequartista. The trequartista is the closest of the advanced playmaker type roles as far as being in the forward position is concerned. It's even stated in the definition for it that a trequartista can operate in attacking midfield or center forward positions, and that is similar to an advanced playmaker. So in doing so, I've just kept the player instructions to be more like an advanced playmaker. I've instituted the shorter passing here. They also have the take more risks for passing, but I've also clicked on shoot less often. Then moving into the back four or back five, if you include the goalkeeper here, I've gone with what I consider to be the most playmaking positions. In this case, it's going to be the inverted wingbacks, who here I've told the same thing, shorter passing, take more risks with their passing, and shoot less often. I've done that on both sides of the pitch, so Balde and Cancelo here both are inverted wingbacks with the exact same roles. And then the ball playing defender seems the most obvious to be like a playmaking role. And I've done the same thing here. Take more risks with passing, shoot less often, shorter passing. And then finally, we have Ter Stegen in goal. Ter Stegen doesn't really have anything, but he has take more risks and shorter passing on. So altogether, we have 11 players whose player instructions reflect a playmaking role in the game. So here we have 11 playmakers. Obviously, there are some things that are conflicting here, as you're going to have a bunch of playmakers in field. It doesn't really make sense to have an inverted wing back here, an inverted wing back here, and De Jong here. There's going to be like 3 players, 4 players just trying to get in here. So there are conflicting roles here, but that's part of the fun of the game, isn't it? For the actual tactics here, we're really going hard on trying to control possession, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. We're really going hard on the shorter passing. We're going hard on a lower tempo. We're playing out of defense and we're working the ball into the box. We've told most of the team to shoot less often anyways. So why not try to get it into the box? They're only going to shoot if they really have to. We're obviously going to take short kicks. We're going to counter press. We're not going to worry about countering. We just want to keep possession. So we're really going with a slower kind of style of play here, where we're going to try to have shorter passing and try to keep possession. I think I'm really hoping for like above 60% possession per game. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. And hopefully some really high passing accuracy, although it could be interesting. It's just like such a weird thing, right? Because we have 11 players who are taking more risks with their passing, but there's no one looking really to make runs in behind. Like Lewandowski's trying to drop in the hole. Felix is trying to find space. Pedri's trying to drop in the hole and find space. So we have a bunch of players who want to take more risks with their passing, even if it is a shorter passing style, but no one trying to make runs to take advantage of that. It's such a weird, mind-boggling instructions and formation, but I think it's going to be hilarious. I want to see what happens. So with that in mind, we're going to play one season with Barcelona here. We're going to go to the end of the season and we're going to look at some of the statistics and the data of what happened. So I'm going to go forward one season, and at the end of the season, Barcelona actually didn't do that bad, finishing in 4th place on 67 points. I mean, that is really disappointing for Barcelona. Like 67 points in 4th place would not be a good season, and being 32 points behind Real Madrid for 1st place would be really disappointing. But that being said, for such a wacky formation, I would say that's not too bad. Looking at the team statistics, somehow, how did Real Sociedad have 64% possession? We had the second highest possession at 61. I said I wanted over 60% possession. I'm happy to see that. I have no idea how Real Sociedad had 64% possession. That's insane. And passing accuracy, we had 91%, which is, it looks like it's also the second highest in the division. So we've designed a whole tactic and player instructions to be very possession based. And somehow Real Sociedad beat us in both average possession and passing accuracy. Looking at some of our attacking metrics, we were tied for 6th in goals scored in the season, only 58 goals. I mean, that's really not that good. I mean, that's a hard mid-table goal scored for a team, especially with 60% possession. That's pretty bad. I think that's very reflective of having most of our team on shoot less often, that we were really not scoring that many goals. And sure enough, with that in mind, looking at the total shots for the season, 11th. We were a lower mid-table team on just getting shots off. So that really shows like our whole team was not trying to shoot. Nobody on our team was trying to shoot. They all had shoot less often on. And sure enough, that led to us really not taking that many shots. That's definitely a downside to having 11 playmakers. That being said, though, because we were shooting less often, the shots that we did take, more were on target. So our shots on target ratio or shots on target percentage was very high, but we were not taking that many shots. And again, interestingly, we didn't create many chances. We were 11th, if you can see it down here. We were 11th. We were a lower mid-table side for just creating chances because everyone's trying to pass. No one's trying to score and get in behind. And here's another interesting one for you guys. With our slow style of play, we didn't sprint much because everyone's playmaking. No one's trying to sprint in behind. And because we had a slow style of play, we're not sprinting a whole lot there. Probably most of it was on defense. As we can see here, like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid at the top. I mean, they were 6th and 7th for high intensity sprints. Our number of high intensity sprints, 15th in the league. We did not sprint very often. These are such interesting metrics, all things considered. Interestingly, also Real Sociedad 19th. So yeah, we were not a sprinting team. This is the metrics on this are very interesting. The other thing, though, with being a really possession-based side, is that we didn't allow many goals. We had the third best defense in the league. This isn't surprising. We would have had a lot of possession. We were still pressing high up the pitch. So not a lot of goals allowed. Our expected goals also very good. So we were a very good defensive team. I am not surprised to see that. All right, I'm interested to see some things in the data hub too, just to see specifically the passing metrics. So we're going to look at passes attempted. Unsurprisingly, mostly playmakers, mostly in the middle of the park. All right, this is our passing map from our last match. And this is lovely. This is a good example of how this tactic works. Look at the entire team just in the middle of the pitch. Lewandowski coming in. Who's this? Rafinha coming in. All of the players here just surrounded in this middle third of the pitch. No one stretching the game up high. No one stretching the game wide. Everyone's trying to come in and come deep. This is a great example of what having 11 playmakers looks like, and just everyone trying to be in the center of the pitch. No one, though, looking to stretch the game. This is an excellent example of what this tactic looks like. Also, interestingly, despite everyone having taken more risks because we don't have people looking to take risks in behind, as a result, we take lots of passes, but our passing is very accurate. So we have a high passing accuracy for our division. We also do a lot of passes for the division. So unsurprisingly, we're just a passing team with 11 playmakers. Well, those are our metrics from the season. The last thing I want to do is just see how each player did individually. So let's look at Lewandowski. How did he do? I mean, 12 goals, that's not great. That's not great. 12 goals, 3 assists, 6.83 overall rating. 12 goals for Lewandowski. I mean, look at how good he is. 18 finishing. He still has good pace, good composure, good off the ball. 12 goals is disappointing. And that's what happens when you have a striker who is shooting less often. They do not get many goals. Naturally, I just forgot that I can go to the squad screen and look up the stats. And we had such a low scoring team. 12 goals for Lewandowski. Actually, 11 for João Feli, which is pretty good. Rafinha with 8. Ario with 6. That was probably mostly off corners. Pedri with 5. We just did not have a lot of goals. And we don't have a lot of assists because of it. We just don't have much going on. All right, and the last thing, because I forgot about it earlier, we're just going to take a look at the schedule, see what happened throughout the season. So looking at the schedule, we had a bad start to the season. Looks like in Group B, we had United, Celtic, and Salzburg. Looks like we didn't do very well. Losing to Celtic, that's terrible. We had a terrible run. Really bad start to the season, but a much better middle portion of the season. That's interesting. Looks like we dropped down to the Europa League. Did we not win the Europa League? Is the tactic that bad that we didn't win the Europa League? We were knocked out. Oh, we were knocked out in the round of 16 to Liverpool. That's not too bad. Oh, Spanish Cup, knocked out to Gijon. So we didn't win anything. A good end to the season. 5 wins to end the season in La Liga. Looking at that, if we did not win those 5 matches, it would have been interesting. It certainly would have been much closer to not being in those Champions League positions. All right, well, that is everything I've got. That is 11 playmakers in a still relatively standard formation. So we modified each of the player instructions to get a true playmaker and increasing the passing risk by shooting less often and shorter passing directness. And that led us to having 11 playmakers on the pitch. And it turns out when you do that, you get a lot of possession, but you really don't score many goals. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This was a fun one to make. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope you all are having a good week and taking care of yourselves. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.